All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the market color session for today, the 19th of September, 2024. Good morning, Moyo. Good morning, Idimachi. It is great to have you all here. I see others online as well, Mr. Sheyi, Quantum Traders Center, IET Flow, Ibukun, Folajimi, Bola. Good morning, everyone. It's great to have you here. So we finally had the FOMC come out yesterday. How many of us traded it? How many of us traded the FOMC? I saw a lot of people in blues. Some of our students even reached out to send their screenshots of how the market favored them. I don't trade news personally, so I wasn't in that particular trade, but we had foresight of how it was going to play out. All right, so I checked through Finviz this morning and I saw that we now have Mr. Shay say just watch his screen. I do not trade news, especially news like FOMC, NFP. I'm good. When it settles down, we'll jump back in the market. So we're going to see what we have in store today. So currently we have a clear economic theme playing out, being the risk on moves. So we're seeing more volumes going into pairs like AU and ZE. Let me just quickly check that to be sure that what I checked is updated. Second, while we check that out, shall we? Home. Okay. All right, so on the daily time frame, we now have clear risk conflict going on. So safe haven assets like the USD and the JPY are currently being sold, and more volatility, more volume is going into pairs like the AUD, NZD, meaning investors are basically seeking higher yielding assets like stocks, commodities, and the likes of it. Okay, so now that we know this, let's go down to the chart, shall we? Starting with AUD USD as we always do, clearly to the upside. Our trend on the H4 as well, clearly to the upside. It even took out this particular high that we have here, barely, but it did, took out liquidity above it, right? So now that we've seen all of this happen on AUD USD, profit taking has occurred as well, meaning those who took the buys have started taking their profit out of the market. We're expecting reversals, right? So we're going to go on the 1 hour time frame and mark out levels or points of interest that we'll be looking to join the buy from. Point of interest, we're looking to buy AUD USD from now that the whole noise should have settled. Although there's still more room for it to do more movement before we eventually or finally get a clear move. But I believe by now, by the time price reverses into these levels we're going to be marking out, we can then join the move, right? So the first point of interest that I have in mind for AUD USD is here. This is my first POI on the H1 time frame. Now I'm still going to go on lower time frames and mark out even more specific short-term biases that I have. So this is POI 1. The second one is now right here. This is now my POI 2. Okay, so price action traders, you don't have the indicators on your charts, just take note of the levels that are written here. 0.67128 and 0.66680 are the two levels I'm looking out on each one. On the M5 time frame now, basically going to be marking out a few levels. The first one being yesterday's high, which is what we have right here. Second one, yesterday's low, which is what we have right here as well. And then we're going to mark out day before yesterday's high. And the final one being day before yesterday's low. So what am I waiting for right now? What am I waiting for right now? Price already came back to retest yesterday's high. You can see, let me zoom in so you see a clearer picture. It's currently retesting it. If price finds support at this level, there's a possibility that it's going to continue buying. However, I will not be comfortable jumping into the AUD USD buy right now. I want it to retest deeper, right? So I'm going to be waiting for price to retrace into this level. The point of interest that I'm interested in right now is now here. Zoom out a bit. Okay, so day before yesterday's high, I'm waiting for a retest of day before yesterday's high 1, or the trend itself, which is right here, and the price value being 0.67579, right? Price gets here. If it doesn't or it breaks below that level, the next support level that I expect AUD USD to stop at is now here. So just bring this out and get the numbers for you. 0.67399. So this is my POI 1 on the 5-minute time frame, POI 2 right here, and my POI 3. So I believe price should retrace lower. And if it doesn't and continues buying, that's fine. We're not in a hurry to jump into trades. We want to see relevant retracement first. But seeing as we're clearly in a risk-on play, there's a possibility that AUD might just continue from here because there's volume, there's volatility. However, I'm going to wait to see if it gets here before I jump into this trade. And then the fight, you have the higher time frame point of interest in mind as well, which is here and here. So let's see what happens. We're going to be watching, we're just watching now for the retracement. As I said, take the reversals, but this is just fresh after FOMC, so let's not take reversal trades today. On NZD USD, H4 as well, we're bullish. However, price hasn't taken out this level. So if you're looking at it, you're looking at your most recent structure price, you could say that is a downtrend, bearing in mind that price took out this level. Not really, but kind of. There's just a long week right here that took this point out. But overall, trend is upward, right? Sunshine break of structure to the upside, break above all our channels to the upside, sunshine printed, signifying what? Profit taking. I'm just going to delete all of these lines. These were from our previous analysis. Okay. So bullish on NZUSD H4 time frame. H1 time frame, what do we see? Also bullish. So what do we do next? Mark out points of interest. First one, the same thing as I did on AU. And the second one, I don't know if we have people who are just seeing the indicators for the first time. Do we? These indicators help us to calculate specific liquidity points. So all we have to do when we are looking at our chart is just to mark out levels that we know the indicator has helped calculate, liquidity points that price will trade into before it continues its overall move. So these are the 2 points I have marked out on H1, yes, straight to the M5 time frame. Going to repeat the exact same thing I did. POI1, POI2. POI3, and the final one being, just give me a second while I try to drag this away from my screen. Okay. So we now have our 4 major POIs on the 5-minute time frame as well. So price, we're waiting for price to do something. Are you going to trade all the way back in here before you find resistance that gives you that final slam downward into relevant point of interest before we now continue the overall buy? We're going to be watching. For now, this session, I'm going to be doing more of just sitting on my hands and watching the charts, right? Maybe moving into New York session, by then I'll have seen a relevant trade that I'll take. For now, I'm mostly sitting on my hands. But I know where price is going, we see where it's going, we've marked out levels we're interested in. So until price gets to those levels, what are we doing? We're watching. USD card, H4. We've been bearish for a long time now, overall bearishness, but the news yesterday took it up and then came back down. Let's zoom in so we can see the candle. So a quick move downward, and then now price has taken what it gave and it's collected, right? So we're now bearish, profit taking here as well. So we're seeing moves downward, although momentum is still to the upside on the H4. On the H1 time frame, price traded into our trend, printed sunshine, it is heading lower. So I think this is the time that USD card might just continue. Sorry, who is joining on the chat? I think this is when USD card will continue its move downward. So now that I've seen this on H1, I'm trying to delete these lines so that we don't get confused. I know the indicators are already plenty, so just delete them. And then on the M5 time frame, the same thing I did on AU and NU, I'm doing here. And that's why I always say trading can be very boring, because you're just doing the exact same boring things you do on one pair on the other pairs. So this day before yesterday's high marked out. The next one is now day before yesterday's low, the final one being yesterday's low. Right. So we saw how price broke below this, give a retest in between. We broke below, gave a retest into my channels, came back down, started doing all of these slow moves, and then finally broke below. Right. So USD card is going to keep selling till it comes here. When it eventually trades in here, maybe this is the point that will now give it that final move that will make it either retest into our POI1, which is the before yesterday's low, or into the trend. So we're expecting a move like this soon, a reversal back into this level, and then the final lap downward to continue the overall bearish move that we see on the H4 time frame. So our buyers on AUN were very clear. We're highly bullish on USD CAD. We're bearish. We're waiting for reversals for us to now continue in line with the trend. All right. For me this morning, like I earlier mentioned, I'm going to be doing more of watching, waiting for price to get to those points of interest, while of course I do other things while waiting, because we won't just be staring at the chart now. We're not roasting corn, right? So I'm going to be waiting, and then when my opportunity shows up, I'm going to be taking advantage of what I see the market doing. Okay, so very shortly, Demola is going to come in on board to come and give us analysis on indices, which include NAS 100, US 30, and any other pair that is looking at today. So stick around. If you have any questions for now, though, please let me know. Not, we're going to go on a very, very short break, and we're going to resume with Demola Global. All right, so please stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. I hope it was helpful to someone at least. It was. Please just leave an emoji for me in the chat box. All right. Thank you so much. We'll be back shortly.
Good morning, and welcome to the second session of this market color session. How are we doing today? Hope we are doing fine. Hope we are good. Welcome to the second part. My name is Demola Global, and I'll be looking at the indices market. And this is, I mean, the US 30, NAS 100, and also S&P 500. For those that love that market, today is the day of analysis, that side of things. So quickly, let's go into the charts. Let's look at what we have this morning in terms of price action. We have some interesting stuff happening already, guys. Really interesting stuff. Let me quickly pull up my chart so we can see. All right. Let's start with US 30. Let's start with US 30. Okay. We rightly said from daily time frame we are bullish and all of that. Our setup from Tuesday has not changed. But finally played out. For those that remember the setup we had, right? What did we have on Tuesday? We said what did we see on Tuesday? Both London and New York session market color. We said we are going to buy from this zone because of what? Remember our markup on US 30. We're planning to buy from here, particularly what? From where? This fair value gap. Right? Please, if you're around and then you took this analysis, or you remember this analysis, just let me know in the chat box, especially on US 30. We had analysis on US 30, NAS, and also S&P 500. If we can remember clearly. I'm trying to see those that were around last week that we drew this area out. Please, if you're aware, if you were around and you remember this analysis, let us just confirm it in the chat box. Let me see if I took a screenshot. Not sure. Oh, beautiful. look at it. September 17, 2024, right? That was like on Tuesday. And look at what we had on Tuesday. Let me share my screen so we can see it. Look at the setup we had on Tuesday. Perfect. This will serve as our liquidity sweep. This structure that has been formed here served as our what? Inducement. And then we said we're going to start buying from what? The fair value gap. This is on 15-minute time frame, mind you. So, and what happened? We saw what happened yesterday with the FOMC. Everything just aligned together. And then, if you're in this trade, I believe for those that were actively monitoring this market, you should be in massive profit by now. Like you should be in some serious profit. Where are we heading to? At least you should see price dance around this zone, at least, or approach this zone. But whatever it is, if you're in this market, I mean, you should have broken even 1:2, 1:3 by now, right? So this is one thing we were looking at, being patient, and it took us quite some days, but then it eventually happened, right? So FOMC news moved price to tap into that fair value gap, and what did we see? A rejection from that fair value gap to the upside, right? With uh with our aim to clear this all-time high, that's 41,981.65. So that's one thing we are currently looking at for Dow Jones. What is the next opportunity now for Dow Jones? Ultimately, like I mentioned, we are looking at minus 50 level, minus 50 fib level, right? And what do I mean by that? Price has already crossed 0.0% fib level. I'm expecting price to move as high as this, minus 50.00 fib level, fib extension level, sorry. So why am I thinking price would do that? Because we saw that rejection happening from 38.2, right? And whenever we see rejection happening from this Fibonacci level, it tends to push to the upside. The momentum to the upside tends to be very, very strong. So that's why I'm anticipating this price movement, right? So that's all on US 30. Let's quickly look at our analysis on NAS. Today is more on the review of what we've had so far. Even NAS 100, what did you say about NAS? We're expecting NAS to clear this, right? Because of the price action we've seen across board with US 30 and also S&P 500. S&P 500 have cleared their own previous all-time high, and they are now beginning to create new all-time high, right? New highs in the market. While for NAS 100, we've not seen that happen yet. So we're anticipating that using correlation analysis, that this same thing is going to happen on NAS, and we can capitalize on that move to take massive trade. So last week also, not last week, this week, on Tuesday, we had this markup, right? This was pure market structure and liquidity. We had this markup on what? On NAS 100. We said we're already seeing a sweep to the upside, and then what happened? Price has broken this structure, right? And then we had a tap into this zone. Price came back again, ultimately clearing this previous high that we had here. But that's not like this will be like the immediate take profit for those that just want to, do intraday trading. Our ultimate take profit is at least here first, and then ultimately this zone here, clearing the previous high that has been formed. All right, so those are two analyses we had on Tuesday. We're waiting patiently for, and they've happened. It has happened already. It's beautiful. I believe those that were tracking this setup took advantage of it and made some good fun from it, good money from it. All right, quickly let's look at S&P 500. S&P 500. S&P 500. We mentioned that S&P 500 also cleared its own all-time high, right? And this is giving us confidence to, take trade in the market. So S&P 500. Let me draw this. Right. Last week, it just did what? not last week, on Wednesday, it just cleared this high with a week. But now we are seeing it with bullish candle closing above the high. So I want to just look at our 1 hour to look for setups. If we can find one for setup, if we can find one. Okay, something interesting is happening here. So this one is for today. Let's just look at how market is going to react off of 50% of this fair value gap, right? But there's no sweep happening. There have not been any sweep that happened. Let me look on 15 minutes. Is there anything that looks like a sweep? Nope, nothing. Okay, this is like a B plus setup. If you want to enter, you might just want to reduce your risk and then just enter with a small lot, right? So you might want to see like a rejection into this zone and then from there it continues to the upside, something like this. Something like this, right? We'll see price come into this zone. See price come into this zone for us to, now take advantage of it, right? So for this morning, I'm looking at both, what's it called now? S&P 500 first, right? Because that one, we're still having an intraday basis kind of setup on it. Why? For what's it called? US 30, it's already happened. The main setup on it has already happened, right? Which is this. That's already happened. This guy here. Awesome. Price is approaching even that zone. So let's look at how price is going to react. Probably if it gets up to this place, that will be like full TP. The first full TP. The second one will be minus 50% extension level. All right, all right, all right. So on S&P 500, as I mentioned, this is a good zone I'm looking at. I just want price to probably come into 50%. Price might even tap. Yeah, price should do 50% of this fair value gap using this as inducement liquidity. Using this guy as inducement. I mean, sorry, my dashboard is not responsive. My present views, okay, not responding. So here we have like my inducement, right? This one will serve as my inducement, and then price is going to tap into say 50% of this fair value gap. Ultimately, will now continue to ride to the upside. That's what I'm looking at for on S&P 500 this morning. However, we have trades running on US 30 and also NAS already, right? Those are in the trade already. I believe you've booked some profits. And if you're not in the trade, or if you're in the trade and you've not taken any profit, please do. Probably we break even or we take partials, right? So that's all for this morning. All right, somebody's asking a question. Of course, please, if you can, if you have any question, let's ask a question now so that we can go through it quickly and then we call it a wrap for this morning. We don't have much today on NAS and the rest because we've done bulk of the analysis on Tuesday, right? Mo Yosoriolu is asking, please can you clarify some of the indices for me? S&P 500, technology dominated. What about Dow Jones, US 30, and Russell 200? Or am I wrong about S&P 500? You're not wrong. Just do a simple Google search, right? What's it called? US 30 track stock price of 30, like 30 biggest American company, right? S&P 500 track like 500 large cap American stock. Don't know if you get it. Let me know if you got it. And also S&P, not even S&P now. Okay. US 100, that's NASDAQ. Track companies, 100 companies from all over the world, right? Why US 30? It includes company based in the United States, right? Companies based in the United States. Don't know if you're getting it. Just do a simple Google search. So that probably ChatGPT or something like that. US 30, NAS 100, and S&P 500. Like I mentioned, NAS 100, that's 100 companies from all over the world. Why for US 30 is from within, or they are based in the United States. All right, sir. Thank you so much. For other questions as regards the analysis, as regards what's it called now, today's market color, please let's ask all of our questions if we have any. And in the absence of no question, we'll be reconvene at 3 p.m. for what? For the New York session market color. Quickly before I move, yesterday there was a, what's it called now? And there was FOMC meeting, and then we saw that US reduced the rates by what, 50 basis points, right? And also there will be monetary policy, Bank of England today. With the news I'm reading through, like the fundamental news and analysts that are giving their own prediction, they are forecasting it to remain unchanged. That means if it remains unchanged, I might be looking at interest rate divergence between countries, right? Between pound and the dollar. So let's watch out for that, right? It's something we can take advantage of. So what does the 50 basis signal for the dollar? I really don't understand your question. Of course, in a way, it weakens the dollar now, right? Interest rates. If I borrow, let me use this example now. In a way, but I'm just saying that this is like the basic, like the layman language. When you add other fundamental factor, you might not necessarily say it's weakening the dollar in the long run, right? I'm saying if you were to borrow money and invest in the dollar, you're getting let me use an example, 5.34% as a return on the dollar, right? Now, you now reduce the interest rate. If you now borrow money to buy the dollar, you're now getting, say, 4.7 something percent. You know, it has reduced what you gain, right? But that's just like the basic fundamental, like the layman language of understanding of this reduction. When you factor things like the labor market, unemployment rates, right? How is it moving and the rest like that? It will adjust everything together. If it was that easy, everybody is just going to go short on the dollar, which is really not possible, right? So that's what I really, really think. I'm looking forward to the Bank of England releasing their own today so that I can use that to prepare for trades on GU, right? If it makes sense, if it remains unchanged, then I might be looking forward to long GU for quite some time, right? I'll be looking forward to long GU. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. We reconvene at 3 p.m. for our New York session market color. Thank you for staying and joining this session. Cheers and God bless, guys.